Hello there, I'm Birgit Miller, an entomologist in the Terrestrial Invertebrates Department of the National Museum, Bloemfontein. And for those of you that might not know, an entomologist is somebody who studies insects. I'm also part of a group of entomologists at the museum that curate the insect collections. This forms part of my job as a museum scientist, ensuring that specimens in our collections are safe and available for current and future scientists who might want to use them for research. The collections also act as a snapshot of our natural heritage at various times throughout the country's history, throughout various dates, temperatures, and seasons. But the specimens don't get into the collections themselves. All museum collections were painstakingly grown over many decades, and in some other museums over hundreds of years by museum staff. As entomologists, we go out to specific habitats such as forests, grasslands, or fynbos and collect insects for the museum. We use a variety of traps to collect insects. Sweep nets, which is used to either catch insects while flying or sweep them from plants. We also use net traps called Malaise traps, which come in different sizes. These are flight interception traps, and we put them up in between vegetation to catch insects that fly or crawl onto them. We also put out beta traps, which lure insects into the traps using smells. These are just some of the methods we use to collect insects. The insects, or in my case flies, are humanely killed and we pin them when we are out in the field. We either pin them directly or double mount them on very tiny pins called minutins. Anything that we cannot pin in the field we put into ethanol for later sorting and identification. We have to be careful when we're working with pins, as they can be quite pointy. We don't go out collecting insects just because we're compelled to do it. The reason we collect insects is to learn about them and to record where they occur in our country. It also allows us to know how many kinds of insects occur in that specific place. We also record exactly where, when, and how we collected the insects and keep that information together with the specimens on labels. By doing this, it allows us and future scientists to use this information to know which insects occurred in a specific place and time. We can then determine whether the insects are still in that place or whether they have died out in that area due to, for example, changing climate or habitat destruction due to human developments, such as mining and shale gas exploration. During the Covid-19 lockdown, I've been working from home, continuing with my work on the insects we have collected over the past 2 years. I've been pinning out almost 10,000 insect pins and preparing to double mount tiny flies. We pin thousands of different specimens into these plastic trays, which allows us to store them until we have time in our schedule to mount them onto foam. We cut boxes of foam into tiny blocks, which can take some time. These are then pinned at a certain height using a pinning block with standard depths. The minute pinned insects are then pinned into the foam. Once we are finished of preparing all of these specimens, we label them and store them together by locality, which is the place they were collected during our field trip. They are then identified and will be entered into our database once lockdown is lifted to allow scientists from across the world to access their information and use them for their own research.